Hola, hola. How's it, Ho Chinas? How's it going? I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, and we are live. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you all for coming. Got no one actually in the chat right now at with the element. But I do have FE Pilot actually that's decided he's going to show us some Earth curve evidence, some evidence for the globe. So how are you doing, FE Pilot?
Hey, yes, I'm sort of young man. Again, I'm a bit struggling with an audio finance. Yeah, doing really good, man.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you're actually going to present something for us. So that's awesome.
Thanks, bud. I'm actually mobile right now in my vehicle, so
Okay.
limited stuff I can present, but I can try.
100%. It doesn't matter. You at least trying. That's awesome. But it's just great to have you on board again. Thanks for coming, mate.
Thanks, bud. So I hope you'll be doing well, and hope your family's well too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely doing well. And yourself?
You know, not too shabby. We're in the middle of winter here, but today is a nice sunny day, so it's all good.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because everybody's freezing everywhere, and I'm dying of heat. I can't wait for winter. Just gonna quickly say hi to everybody in chat. Hi Alan Ostran, good to see you. Charlie Gill, PJ Cruikshank. Who else there? I just got and packet of crisps. Hey, how you doing? Moxie, Arwen, and Matthew Eastman. It's good to see you guys. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, well, the actual topic for tonight is gas, and has it got to abide by density and gas laws? So far, you guys have all voted yes. But we've got a nice, awesome FE Pilot treat for us tonight. He's going to be presenting globe evidence for us. So, FE Pilot, when you're ready, let me know.
Sure, sounds good. I guess the first thing I just wanted to say, I looked at the sun daylight night map, and I had a really cool idea for you. Is like, if you look south right before the sun rises, people look in South America can also look south and still see the constellations, because they'll be in the darkness, and then you guys can figure out what you're seeing when you're both looking south, if you're both seeing the same constellations at the same time.
Yeah, everybody in the south sees the same, like the Southern Cross and stuff. We all see the Southern Stars. That's correct.
Yeah, but it's tricky because that doesn't really. The issue is the flat Earth model. It's harder to explain, right?
Not really.
I mean, south is like different directions, right?
No, south is just away from north. It's the same direction.
I mean, if you're on a pizza though, right? Like one slice of pizza is looking one way, and then a couple of slices over, you're looking a different way.
I understand what you're trying to say.
No,
I don't understand what you're trying to say. Like in South America, South Africa, and Australia, we're all supposed to be looking south and seeing the stars at the same constellations at the same time, which is actually false. Due to the time zones, we actually see them at different times, not exactly the same times. And secondly, if you guys ever thought of, if the stars are in the dome, it could be the reflections.
No, what I mean is, like, you and somebody in South America go out at the same time.
Yeah.
Like literally the same time on the phone. You're both looking south, and you're like, well, what constellations do you see?
I'm gonna look at time zones. Let's go look at the time zones. South America.
No. I'm not talking about like you both go out at, let's say, midnight. I'm saying you go out and you're on the phone with a flat Earth compatriot in South America, and you're like, hey, I'm outside right now.
Yeah.
What do you see?
They're 6 hours behind, so we would have to go and look at. Let's see. Maybe I have to be there at like 2 or 3 in the morning. And it'll still be nighttime for them and nighttime on me as well. Then we should be seeing the same constellations. Is that what you're saying? And
that's right. I'm saying like you literally the same time. You're on the phone talking to each other and both looking south.
Yeah, and we see the same constellations. How's that disproving the flat Earth and evidence for a globe?
Well, it's just a bit awkward on the flat Earth because you're on different slices of a pizza, looking at the ice wall, and somebody in South America is a couple of slices over from you, right?
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Have you ever I can't, I'm trying to think of the word. Let's say you take a glass bowl and you shine a laser on the tip of the glass bowl. Does that light shine through everywhere? It refracts through the whole glass of the bowl. You understand? It literally shoots around. It's got different reflections inside the glass bowl. You've seen that before. I'm just trying to think of the name. I can't think of it.
Anyways,
internal reflections.
Concepts like we in the glass bowl. It's beautiful to talk about without having a picture.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm thinking we're just trying to work it on the flat Earth model because the stars are inside the dome, and the dome is said to be like crystalline structure, so it's like glass. So if it's based on the flat Earth model, and we can see the stars at the same time looking all south, and they're supposed to be actually opposite directions because you're saying the ones you know what I mean on the based on the flat Earth map, then it could have internal reflections from the stars, and that's why we see the same stars at the same time, because it's just internal reflections from the dome.
That's with all due respect, I really think you're sort of very flat biased, and you're sort of starting to.
No, like, I just giving you an answer.
You're really stretching the believability of, you have a lot of ideas how the flat Earth could work. I'm saying, is that really the most plausible way?
Yeah, internal reflections is a real thing. You can literally go and demonstrate internal reflections.
But you do realize how for most people, if you look south at the same time somebody in South America looks south, and you guys are seeing the same stars looking towards us wall on different slices of a pizza, you can see for most people that will be like pretty big global evidence.
Okay, let's put it this way. If it had to be Australia and South Africa looking at the same time, it wouldn't work because the time zones is just too far away. It's not going to be night time by them and me, but I'm saying. Same with
that's what
South America. But South America and South Africa are close enough to have nighttime at the same time.
That's correct. Right. And that's why I'm bringing up South America.
Exactly.
You can literally do it at the same time.
Okay, I'm going to save it quickly, this image. I don't know if you'd be able to see. Okay, then I'm going to open, let's go open Paint. I'm going to quickly get that on there. But it's good to have you on, mate. I'm glad you are here.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's always a pleasure. Okay, so yeah, we can see how I haven't used Paint in such a long time. Can you even rotate? Can you rotate on Paint? Anyway, I'm just gonna draw a line like that. It's fine. Anyway, we're saying we're looking at stars that direction, and we're looking at stars in that direction, and we see the same stars, and that one. But this one in Australia is actually wrong because you wouldn't be saying it at exactly the same time as South America and South Africa. So South America and South Africa can see the same stars because they're both looking close to each other at the same time. So like me, it would be 3 o'clock in the morning. By them, it's 6 hours behind. So it's also going to be nighttime. We'll see the same constellation. Let's, for instance, say the Southern Cross. Now, as I said, according to the flat Earth model, those stars would be inside the dome, so it'd have internal reflection. So it would literally, to my vantage point, the stars would look south to me, and to their vantage point, the stars would look south to them. But it's at this exact same location, just reflected internally and through the dome. And that's based on the flat Earth map model. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I think you got to sketch this out a little bit, because this reflection idea, if you just say it, it doesn't really explain it, bro.
Internal reflections. I don't know if so. I think it was even Action Lab that did it at a stage. There we go. You can even see this internal reflection. You see that how the optical fibers are giving internal reflection. It actually lights up the whole glass. There we go. There. Don't know if you can see. They're showing a fish tank. Can you see on the? Are you be able to look on YouTube? Probably not, because you're on your phone, correct?
I could, but I can't. I'm on a phone, so I don't have a way to mute the YouTube audio that I know of without muting you also.
Okay.
So I don't want to cause any echoes.
Okay, so yeah, I think then after the stream or when you have time, maybe just go and look at it.
Sure.
What I'm just trying to say is it's like just reflecting off through the dome on the flat Earth, you could say, and that's why we can see the same stars at the same time.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm just agreeing because I can't, because I don't know what else to say, you know?
No, I understand.
I'm agreeing, but I'm not agreeing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand. That's why you gave an answer, you wanted an answer, so I'm just giving you an answer.
Right. But I think the main thing is, you know, you gotta look into your own motivations and say, hey, am I making excuses for flat Earth? How much do I really want this to be true?
It's not excuses. It's very plausible to have it. But anyway, enough of flat Earth. You said you're gonna present some globe Earth evidence for us.
Sure, I'll do my best here, being mobile. So I just want to tell you about the horizon, because it's. I mean, as a pilot, a lot of times we're up there, we're sitting there for hours on end. We're looking at the horizon, right? And it comes into our line of work quite a bit. The first thing I want to kind of cover is the horizon physical or optical? Because that's a question I get quite a bit. And I say yes, it's physical and it's optical. And you might say, how can it be both? And I tell you, if I look at my cat, is it physical or is it optical?
Yeah,
yes, it's both. It's physical. It exists there in the real world, but I'm seeing it optically with the light bouncing off the cat and entering my eyes. If you don't believe me, just turn off the lights or wait till nighttime. I can't see my cat anymore. It's still there physically, but I can't see it optically.
Yeah, yes, but you see, that's where we have to draw a fine line, though. Horizon is specifically the apparent position on that physical surface. You understand?
That's correct. It's there physically, and then we're seeing it optically.
So, like the ocean, the water, it's physical. No one's denying that. But the horizon is only an optical position. It's apparent because you can see it. But that optical position is not physical.
Well, that's where our models differ, because on the globe model, the horizon is a tangent line between my eyes, or observer's eyes, and the edge of a sphere. That's what it is, physically. And then you're optically seeing that physical object. Okay. So yes, it's physical. Yes, it's optical on the globe model.
But if it's refracted, that means it's only optical, because refracted horizons, as you put it, is only an optical illusion. It's not a physical illusion.
No, not at all. It's there physically, and sure, you're seeing it through a lot of atmosphere, so it's susceptible to atmospheric effects, including refraction.
But that's what I'm saying.
But it has to be physically there in the first place to begin with.
Let's put it this way. If I have a puddle of water on the ground, and all of a sudden we heat it up and there's refraction, did it physically move the puddle of water, or did it just move where I appear to see the puddle of water?
Yet the puddle of water was there to begin with, physically.
Yeah, but like I'm asking, does it physically move the puddle of water, or just the appearance of the puddle of water once refraction is shown?
It moves the appearance, just like my cat will be refracted.
So there we go. So according to a globe model, there's always refraction every single day, correct? There's no days where there's no refraction.
Yes, there's a standard refraction.
So
but now that
it's always been optical.
Who knows?
Then.
The index goes this way, goes that way. There is days maybe where there is no refraction.
There's always refraction. You always got atmosphere.
I mean, could you prove that claim? I mean,
yes.
I'm just saying it's possible to have no refraction.
We got atmosphere, so refraction is simply there. According to your terrestrial refraction, which isn't actually refraction because it doesn't even include Snell's law, it literally changes the shape of the Earth. you can never ever get your radius because it's always refracted.
Oh, I see. Well, but they did measure the radius. Alberuni did, right?
Did he take refraction into account?
I'm not sure, but you know what? I'm sure he wasn't trying to. He wasn't trying to hit a home run when it comes to the radius. He just wanted a base hit. He just wanted something to work with, right?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to give you a bit of a history lesson with him. First of all, he didn't even know refraction existed then. Second of all, he literally used a trigonomic function based on horizontals, flat Earth. And thirdly, Alberuni proved it was flat when he did those measurements.
He proved it was flat.
Yes.
But he still got a radius, though.
The radius calculation is based off a flat trigonomic function.
And what radius did he come up with?
Your 4959, as far as I know, very close to it. And that
so he came very close to the alleged
and
radius.
that was without refraction, remember? Because he didn't even, the concept of refraction, you could say, didn't exist then, so nobody really knew about refraction then.
Good. I like those times. The simpler times before refraction muddied the waters.
Great, yeah. So we agree then he couldn't actually measure the physical curve because it was only optical. And he used flat, and he just used flat.
To the actual radius.
Yeah, which you just understand then, your radius is actually a hijacking of perspective then. It's not Earth curve. It's not physical, it's optical.
I'm confused. How did he get so close if he didn't even do it right?
Because refraction plays a role in giving the optical illusion of drop.
So it's just a coincidence is what you're saying?
No, it's not coincidence. He measured flat, and because his belief in a globe, he took that measured flat and said, oh, it looks to be curving, so therefore it's physical curve. Get it? That's how your radius, guys, was derived, from taking optical observations and calling it physical. That's practically what your globe is.
Anyways, you know Wolfie 6020 is measured the Earth radius also using method Alpilot-Rooney.
Okay, how did he measure it? Because do you know there's a difference between calculation and measurement?
Well, I guess he measured horizon dip, and he used that to use the right formula to derive a radius from that.
Horizon dip, so it was an optical measurement.
Oh, but this is where you're on. This is where you're on flat. So we're getting back to my original point: is that yes, the horizon is physical. Yes, it's optical. It's both.
Horizons aren't
You
physical.
need
The surface
you need the
is
physical horizon to begin with.
No, that's false. The surface is physical, like the ocean or the ground. The horizon is an optical apparent position. Remember, there's always refraction, always. So you're not going to have your horizon in a physical place. It's only going to be in an optical place.
What you have to keep in mind, Flatsoid, is I can probe the horizon not only with my eyes, but using other frequencies in an electromagnetic spectrum. For example, things like VHF radio waves and VHF radar waves.
Yeah, and
I'm not even sure what frequency the radar is on, but I can probe it with my radar. An interesting thing that happens with the horizon is it's a physical blockage to radio waves, VHF radio waves, and radar energy.
We can debunk that now as well, because radar actually proves the flat Earth. I've actually made a video on this before. The angle just gets too acute to be able to bounce back to give a signal to the receiver. That's why when you change elevation, you've just pushed out that angle, that incident angle, further out so it can return back to the signal. It's just because the angle gets too limited, because it's too acute to be able to have the incident angle large enough to return to the receiver. It's the same as if you take a laser and you put it through a glass beam, through a piece of pane of glass, and you change the elevation. Let's say you go too low into glass, you're not going to be hitting a certain point of your target because the angle is just too small. It cannot be able to bounce back. You wouldn't get the laser to bounce back to your receiver, you could say.
But that's why I use VHF radio signals to see how far the horizon is, and that's you can't make the excuse that it's the angle, because it's an antenna, a vertical antenna, and at some point the signal gets blocked. And the formula for how far we can see VHF signals is based on Earth curvature.
Does the VHF radar work on angles?
No, it does not work on angles. It works on, there's like a vertical antenna, and there's an antenna at the bottom of the aircraft or top, and it's line of sight type of connection.
Great, so angles.
No,
it's
not
an
angles.
It's an angle towards. It's an angle towards, exactly.
Not at all. No angles.
So
it's not an angle issue.
So we can point it in. So I can point it in any direction, and it will still pick it up.
Yeah, you can transmit, and it's going 360 degrees around the aircraft in all directions.
With an angle.
And it keeps going, and it keeps going until it's blocked by Earth curvature.
Okay, great. So if I'm in the middle, let's say I'm standing somewhere, and I've got this beacon, and the waves are going out in a 360 degree circle around me out, correct? In like a bubble form, you can say, a dome kind of thing. You would understand that each point from me is a different angle, correct? Let's say on top of me is 90 degrees, in front of me is 180 degrees, or just in front of me is 60 degrees, you understand? Behind me is another 80 degrees.
Yeah,
so it's an angle.
I'm with you.
Cool. So what happens if that angle reaches a point where it gets too acute? Because as it goes out in the distance, it cannot be back because the incidence angle becomes too small to receive it back.
Do you know the formula for VHF radio range for aircraft?
No? Please enlighten me.
I'm gonna Google it, because I did learn it, but you know, that was a few years ago.
Ooh.
Okay, so what happens when you're down low? I'm gonna talk and I'll Google it at the same time. So what happens when you're down low is the horizon is nice and close, and you have very poor range.
Yeah, because
as
the incidence angle.
As you increase altitude, you drop. The horizon is much further away, and you increase your range.
Just like the radar on the boat that I was talking about, it's got to do with your incident angle.
Well, I don't think the radar and the VHF radio, it's the same principle. I mean, it's radio energy, but it's not got to do with incident angle, because think about the ground station, right? It's a vertical antenna. It's a vertical antenna. So the incident angle, whatever you're saying, is no difference. It's still a vertical antenna.
I'm going to say incident angle for radar. Incident angle is the angle between the radar beam and the target object. The incident angle helps determine the target appearing in an image. On a flat surface, incident angle is a complete complement of the depression angle. So a flat surface is the incident angle is the complement of the depression angle. So you know when it gets to that depression angle and it can't be read anymore? That is on a flat surface.
But we're not talking about radar, we're talking about radio.
You just said it's based on the same principle.
But it's based on the same principle of radio energy.
Okay, so
but you got to think about what you're transmitting or receiving to or from.
What do you say for radio waves?
You have a vertical antenna on the ground.
Yep. How does reflection affect radio waves? And at the angle at which the radio wave is reflected from a smooth metal surface, also called the angle of reflection, is always equal to the angle at which it, so there is definitely angles. And if, let's say, the angle is, like they said, reflective, and the incidence angle is too small, you could say, do you think it would be able to bounce back to the receiver?
Yeah, the angle is not too small because the angle is 90 degrees.
And
Because you stick a vertical antenna on the ground, that's where air traffic control talks from. And our antenna is at the bottom or the top of the aircraft.
and the radio
There's no
waves and radio waves can undergo refraction.
Of course.
Great.
Because they're Denver on curvature.
So then it can also fall subject to incident angle changing because of refraction.
Well, I'm just hearing word salad right now, honestly, to tell you the truth.
No, you're the one speaking the whole time. I'm just trying to explain to you that the incident angle can change, literally, and that's when that incident angle is too small. It's not going to bounce back. It's like you've seen. You know how the panels work on a tank. Why they're slanted, correct?
I think we should just focus on radio waves.
No, this is towards it. Tanks.
Okay, but I still want to focus on radio waves.
Yeah, it's still got to do with the radios, but I'm just saying. You know, on the tanks, they got these slanted angles for all their panels. Do you know why that is?
I don't know.
It's exactly what happens with an incident angle. So let's say I shoot a bullet at it. It's going to reflect off at a different angle as soon as it hits. So it kind of makes it that it can't go through. So let's take, for instance, radar now shooting on that panel. It goes at a certain angle towards that panel that's directing that radar beam away. Is that radar beam supposed to now come back to the receiver if it's been directed away?
Yeah, but I think just to simplify the conversation, why don't we talk about radio and vertical antennas? There's a vertical antenna sticking out the bottom of the aircraft.
This is exactly
There's a
got to
vertical
do with
antenna
that.
sticking up from the ground.
Let's see if I can get some pictures up. What do you say it is? Radio waves? What?
I'm talking about radio waves.
So
Let's
radar.
talk about.
Just normal radar.
Are you googling this stuff as we're speaking?
I'm putting it on screen for everyone on images so they can see exactly what I'm saying, because I have done a video on this before. Yeah, so I do have actual knowledge on this because I've done a video on this.
We're talking about radio.
Sorry?
We're not talking about radar, we're talking about radio. So I think we're just focusing.
It's the same thing, dude. It's radio waves.
Not really. Because the antennas for radio are vertical.
It doesn't matter. You're just having a different incident angle.
Okay. Let's think about two boats with a vertical antenna on it. Each boat has a vertical antenna. What's the incident angle between them as the distance increases?
Sorry, say again?
Think about two boats with a vertical antenna on top of each one.
Yeah.
What's the incident angle on top of those boats as the distance increases?
I don't know. It depends on how far they are and the height of the transceiver.
Are you thinking globe model or flat Earth model? Because when you say you don't know,
I'm not thinking any model. I'm not thinking any model. I'm not thinking any model. You're the one claiming that it proves Earth curve. I'm telling you, when the angle gets to an incident angle that it cannot reflect back, it will bounce away and not get back to the receiver. That's how it works. Because all receivers work with a pulse. If it's not getting that pulse received back, it's not because it hits Earth curve, it's because it's literally the incident angle is too small and it cannot get received.
That's why don't you sketch this out? Why don't you sketch this out? Draw the flat feet. We're talking flat Earth model here. Put an antenna, draw two boats separated by some distance. Put a vertical antenna on each boat. Now increase the distance between the boats, and you tell me, does the incident angle change?
Okay, that's it. Okay, there we go. Let's say that's the ocean. Just gonna say this is ship 1. Let's make it orange. Ship 1. And we can have ship 2. Oopsie. ship 2, whatever. Doesn't really matter what color it is. Okay, so what you're saying? You're saying the antenna is high off the ground. And we're going to have another one high off the ground. Okay?
No, draw a vertical antenna. A vertical antenna. A vertical.
That's vertical. That's vertical.
Tower.
But you know the receiver sits over a vertical that reads from a horizontal.
Just draw a vertical tower like you would a light pole.
I got it.
Or a
Yeah,
flagpole.
yeah, I've got it. But you do know it. The receiver sits in the horizontal plane.
What are you, an amateur radio operator?
Again, the receiver sits on a horizontal plane.
That's what I'm talking about. Just draw a vertical tower.
I already
we want to
did
get some
that.
height to our antenna.
I did
Don't
that.
we?
So let's just say the angle hits here, it can receive back. Let's draw
There
it
you
again.
go.
Now
Now
it goes
now you can
further,
see, I'll increase
the
it.
angle gets smaller. As it goes, the angle gets smaller. And as it goes, the angle gets smaller. So it can bounce back, but eventually it won't be able to bounce back because the angle to come back is too small.
Okay, but you're talking about model here, right?
Any model, it's got to do with the
What?
angle. You can be a donut Earth if you wanted to.
What?
It's got nothing to do
That's
with the
right.
shape. It's
That's
got to
right.
do with the
Please,
angle
please,
and to the
pump a brake.
receiver. You just
Pump the
made
brakes, please. What are you talking the angle gets smaller? Increase the distance between those two ships, and the angle between their antennas stays exactly the same.
no, it does not.
Uh,
If I stand in front of you, okay? If I stand in front of you 5 meters away, and now you move 20 meters away, are we the same angle apart?
well, think about it like this.
No, we're not the same
let's say
angle
we
apart.
hang on, let's pump the brakes for a sec. Let's think about it like this.
Look at
Let's say we're both exactly the same height. Let's say we're both exactly the same height, our eyes are the same height. We stand 2 feet apart, we're looking each other in the eye. On a flat surface, now we go out to half a mile apart, we're still looking each other in the eye. You go 5 miles apart, we're still looking each other in the eye, and so on and so forth. It doesn't matter how far apart you are, you still look at each other in the same eye. That's why the angle stays the same. The angle's not changed.
I'm literally showing on screen now that the angle changes.
Well, problem is I don't want to cause any feedback. So let me just have a look on the screen.
Literally, the angle changes. Why do you think things change in angular sizes to get away? The angle changes. The subject doesn't physically change. It's the angle that changes, and that's why it has an appearance in angular size change. So everything that has an angle, like radio waves, the angle moving to a further distance changes. It has a different incident angle.
No, but put that first chip on the left. Put that a little bit lower, so it's like the same. The mast is the same height as other ships.
No. So you're saying that level should be the same on orthographic view?
Yeah, I'm saying put the mast the same height.
Okay. So you're saying because it's level like that, you're saying when it gets far enough, it's not going to be it should be returning back, but it doesn't.
I'm saying it doesn't matter if you're 500 miles apart or 100 or 50 or 5. The antenna relationship hasn't changed on a flat surface. On a level, yeah, on a flat surface.
Okay, let's say oceans. Do they have swells and waves?
Okay, flat soil. We're not talking about swells and waves. We're talking about angle.
It's two ships on the ocean. This ship has got a different bulge of water sitting. This one is sitting in a dip of water. Are they going to show the same angle towards the antennas?
Okay. Well, keep in mind, we're not talking ships. I'm really talking about aircraft.
You just told me to draw two ships on the water. That's what I'm saying.
what determines the range that we can talk on the VHF radio.
But even
My point is that.
But even on a plane, it still has the same principle. You can just get further because the plane is higher.
No, well.
It's the same as the sun. The sun,
Yes,
you can
but
see
what-
further
what
with the
blocking-
sun than you can see of a ship on the ocean. That's why the sun always appears to be behind a ship when it's setting, because the sun is higher, so it's got a further distance between you and the sun or airplane than you and the ship would be, because your angle would get limited much quicker to the ship than it would to the airplane.
Yeah, well, what's blocking our radio transmissions or our navigation beacons is the Earth curvature.
No, it's the angle, that's the incident angle that becomes too small to be able to bounce back. The incident angle becomes too great. So that's what I tried to explain with the tank. You know, they got that slanted panel. It's to direct the bullet away. It's the same with the angle with the radar wave. If it goes and it goes to an angle that's just going to have too much limitation, because the angle is just, you know, because look, when the angle goes away, it becomes more and more acute. So eventually it gets to an angle that's too acute, and it cannot be received back because it cannot bounce back to the receiver. It literally goes and misses the receiver. That's why when they go and they change elevation, let's like, you know, with the ships, let's say someone puts a radar on their mast that's a meter high. They're not going to be able to get as much range as someone with a 2 meter high mast. Not because of earth curve, it's because of the angle. It's got incident angles that lets it bounce back to the receiver.
Okay, but I mean, what experience are you basing this on? Are you a mariner? Are you a pilot? Do you know what kind of range you can get from different masks or different altitudes? Okay, that's right.
Kind of breaking up, dude.
That's a phone call. What's that?
Don't know if he's still here, guys. Okay, guys, I don't know if he's still here. I don't know if he broke up or something. Charlie Gold, yeah, Leafy, we're Afrikaans, so it's... But it's good to see my wife in chat. Baie dankie, my vrou. Ek's baie lief vir jou. Okay, so yeah, like I've been trying to explain to him, guys, it's literally just the incident angle. I did actually do a video on this before, a whole series actually, I think. Let's quickly go and see. This was still with Arctic reflections. I was trying to explain to him, it's just got to do with the incident angle. It's very simple stuff. Definitely not earth curve. Hey Skeptic, great to see you. Thank you for coming. I saw Nathan Oakley in earlier as well. Into the break. Thank you for being here. Jeff Gassett, Peter G. Moomin Rider. No, I'm not a mariner. Why should I be a mariner to understand radar? Radar proves flat earth. There we go. Use Colgate. I think I should get the Photoshop again. It's embarrassing using paint, to be honest. I haven't used it in years. Maybe I should download it again quickly. There we go. YouTube downloader. Hey, Tariq, good to see you, mate. Radios are bounced off iron and almost yep, exactly. It needs to be the right angle. I mean, think about it. It's the same as if you guys are pointing as your satellite TV dish somewhere. If you're not pointing at the right angle, you're not going to get a signal. Hey, ZA, good to see you, mate. Glad you could make it. Spud, good to see you, mate. Is he on BitChute as well? Interesting stuff. I'm just quickly downloading the video so we can watch the video.
An echo radar emits a sound wave and then waits for the echo to come back to its receiver. By timing the returning echo, you can work out exactly where another object is. And when using multiple receivers positioned at different angles, it can determine the basic size of an object that the sound waves have bounced off of. Positioned at different angles, it can determine the basic size of an object that the sound waves have bounced off of.
Angles, guys. Bye bye Liefie, baie dankie dat jy gekom het. Love you lots. PJ. Note guys, this is why I made this and which what I was trying to explain to him. Remember he says now it's going to a plane, you pick it up. It's very simple. The angle gets to limited. This is why they don't like when you use the word angles and limited, because their whole globe is based on believing this limit of angles is their physical curve. It's just willfully ignorant and, well, a belief.
Sorry, you still there?
Hey, how's it going? You watching the video?
Yeah, I am watching the video, but sorry, I had a technical issue. A couple of calls going at once, so.
No stress, yeah, I thought you dropped or something. I'm just gonna quickly watch the video finish and then we can carry on. How's that?
Okay, sounds good. Let me know.
Shot, mate. Giulio says, no existence of limited angle in geometry. Yet that's what we can see happening. As it's getting away, the angle becomes too acute. It gets to what you call a limit. So a limited angle. Yep, it exists, dude. Geometry shows it. See how you can see further away when you just changed the elevation angle? Yep, precisely what's happening on the ocean, guys. The higher the elevation, the further you push out your angle.
Curvature when you look at the distance and seeing that the objects would be disappearing beyond the horizon.
So the horizon is a physical geometric sphere edge then? No, we've debunked that. If the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. As per the geometric, begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator. And the images of the black swan demonstrate beyond all certitude that the limitation claimed to be a physical horizon is beyond the limitations of the geometry of a sphere, Earth radius 3959. Therefore, the Earth is not a sphere, and the horizon is not physical Earth curve. So no, we've debunked the horizon as a physical Earth curve edge. So to say, oh, I can see curvature at the horizon, is you telling me that the horizon is now Earth curve, like in your Earth curve maths? So in your Earth curve maths, it says the horizon's going to block.
Hey, Jonah, good to see you.
You've also told us that that maths doesn't represent what we see. Cognitive dissonance much?
Maybe he thinks he can see it, but just not calculate it somehow.
the curve calculator doesn't represent what we see, how the hell are you going to claim that the blockage at the horizon is Earth curve as per the maths that you say doesn't represent what we see? You seem to be in cognitive dissonance, my friend. It can't both not be what we see and be your claim that the physical geometry is blocking things. Meanwhile, we've debunked it with the black swan. It's beyond all limitations of a geometric sphere edge horizon.
Show me the picture that debunked the Earth's curvature.
It's called the black swan. It shows the horizon beyond 9.6 miles when at the limitations of a geometry that you assert in the maths that you say doesn't represent what we see now, because you're an anti-flat earther, it would be at 1.2 miles. So the physical limitation of your view based on the geometry would be at 1.2 miles in that image, and it's beyond 10 miles, beyond things that should be obscured by it. Now, if the response to that is that it's refracted, then you can no longer use it to gain tangents to do the geometry as per the depiction on screen. So the depiction on screen is the Metabunk curve calculator that shows a straight line, that would be the geometric requirement for this model, tangent to a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, blocking things with a value that they'll give with a hidden attribution of feet or meters values. So this is a claim that the horizon blocks things into the distance. If that was the case, then this would be the limitation to your view at 1.2 times the square root.
Hey, Mr. Scholar, good to see you, mate. Let's go make it.
The black swan shows it's beyond that. Therefore, this geometry is no longer capable of being done, because the response is to say that this line required to do the geometry, or the tangent, is in fact bent, therefore no longer capable of being utilised as a tangent. Bye-bye, globe geometry.
Hey, get Shred, good to see you. Glad you could make it. That's actually a good one, PJ. Yeah, the video just finished, mate. PJ just said, I can't believe you haven't made your wife a mod. You're actually correct. I should actually make him. It's the first time she came in here. To be honest, I was shocked she was in here, so sorry about that. Yes, mate, it's good to have you back. Did you watch what was on screen?
No. There was a very annoying man talking. I didn't listen to any of that.
Nathan Oakley was talking at one stage, yeah.
There was a very annoying man talking. I did not want to listen to him.
But that annoying man you call is now not there anymore.
Thank you so much. Please do not play that man again.
But anyway, I hope you were looking at the angle argument.
You know what? Honestly, on my professional experience, there is no angle argument. If you talk to Arctic Reflections, who's a mariner, in Navy or whatever, the armed forces, and also the civil mariner, I'm pretty sure.
You know, the video I just played was for Arctic Reflections, by the way.
Yeah, all they talk about is Earth curvature. Pilots, Earth curvature blocking our communication
That's false.
and our navigation signals.
That's false.
Why
every time someone interviews a pilot and they ask them and they say no, they don't account for any curvature or anything?
I mean, what does it mean to account for curvature?
You just said they talk about curvature all the time, so they account for it.
I mean, if they were paying attention in the ground school, they would know that the Earth curvature is blocking the radio signals.
No, the angle blocks the Earth curve. The angle blocks the limiting angle. The angle just blocks from the receiver receiving it. I literally showed you on screen from Mariner's textbooks that shows the angle when it's too far out the incident angle is too large, so it cannot get back to the receiver. Literally, from a textbook.
So if I'm at 35,000 feet, what will be my VHF radio range?
What's your distance?
35,000